Good evening from R.A. Fagnall Hall on the campus of Elmhurst College, where the Elmhurst College Blue Jays look to move to 2-0 on the season in wrestling. Luke Tanaka with you. So glad to have you alongside for this edition of Elmhurst Wrestling on Blue Jay TV. Today we have the Elmhurst College Blue Jays facing off against the Trine University Thunder. Introduction taking place on the mat right now, as you can see in front of us. We'll get to the starting lineups in just a bit. But first, what we're looking for today for the Blue Jays, we're really looking for it. They already wrestled once. We saw them here at R.A. Fagnall Hall against Wheaton. They really dominated the Thunder in the early goings, winning a couple of matches, a couple of bouts by forfeit, but also three major decisions, one technical fall, and one pin. That was in the first 7, and that put the Blue Jays up 35-0. But then Wheaton was able to take some points down to the bottom of the lineup, the heavier weight classes. So we're going to look at the freshman Leo Ortiz at 184, the sophomore at 197 Mark Miller, and the senior at 285 Luis Montoya, and see if the Blue Jays can gain some points down there as well. The Blue Jays have dominated the series against the Thunder in the Trine University Thunder in past seasons. We'll see if they can continue that dominance today. Final introductions taking place down on the mat. At 125, we'll have Anthony Munoz of the Blue Jays taking on Brendan Stevens of the Trine Thunder. At 133, it'll be Jared Braun facing off against Drew Clark of Trine. And Ronnie Hauser of the Blue Jays at 141 facing off against Jeffrey Helm of the Thunder. Caleb Ramos is at 149 for the Blue Jays, facing off against Caleb Maddox. At 157, Gunnar Hajorth faces off against Nick Miller. Miller from the Thunder and Hajorth from the Blue Jays. Tim Novarini at 165 will bring his senior status into that matchup against Brock Baker, just a freshman. Keone Durain at 174 has earned a forfeit over Trine, so that's 6 points in the column for the Blue Jays that will come when 174 comes onto the mat. 184, Leo Ortiz for the Blue Jays, a freshman who lost against Wheaton, looking to get his first collegiate win today against Trine. He'll face off against another freshman, Austin Farrell. Mark Miller is wrestling at 197 for the Blue Jays, also looking for his first win after facing the #1 ranked wrestler at that weight class against Wheaton College. He'll face off against J.C. Jensen. And then Luis Montoya, senior, normally wrestles at 197, but he'll wrestle at 285 today. He's going to take on late scratch. Joe Stasiak cannot wrestle today, so Anthony Neal is going to be the one who will take the mat. He's a freshman, and 0-2 overall record for Trine. Head coach of the Blue Jays, Steve Marinetti. Head coach of the Thunder, Dan Callahan. Whistle goes, and we're underway here at R.A. Fagnall Hall. First matchup, Anthony Munoz and Brendan Stevens. Stevens coming off a very good weekend at the Trine Invitational, where he took 4th with a record of 3-3. Munoz, just his second bout of the season second bout of the season after winning by forfeit, so technically nothing in the record book, but really the first time he's had to wrestle on the mat this year. Starter at 125 last year for the Blue Jays as well. Neutral position here early first period. First bout of the day in 125. Stevens lost by fall against Alma in the first duel for Trine this season, in the first action that they saw. But then bounced back over the weekend at the Trine Invitational to go 3-3 and take 4th place down there. A pretty solid mess of teams at that Trine Invitational, including a couple of Chicagoland teams in North Central and University of Chicago. As I mentioned earlier, the season series has been dominated by the Blue Jays over the last 2 years. Elmhurst looking to make it 3 wins in a row over the Thunder. Munoz trying to get the Blue Jays off to a fast start. They have the new singlets, as you see on the screen. Debuting those new singlets in this matchup. Trine in the sort of dull gold on the left, while the Blue Jays in the white and the blue and the light blue, of course, for Elmhurst. More than halfway through the first period, still awaiting our first points of the bout. And seeing Stevens be a little bit aggressive, trying to go for that leg, and now the two will back off and reach the center of the mat again. A little hand fighting, and then eventually the heads come together. Again, Stevens going for that right leg of Munoz. Seems like that's the play for him. Munoz clamping out on top so Stevens can't get to that leg. Under a minute to go here in the first period of our first bout of the day. This one's been stalemated so far. Munoz trying to circle around on top. And a nice job by Stevens of staving off the threat. And out of the circle. We'll bring it back to the middle with 30 seconds to go here in the first period. Munoz out of Zion, Illinois, went to Zion Benton High School. Brendan Stevens out of Battle Creek, Michigan, went to Lakeview High School. There is, gets the leg, does Stevens. Munoz trying to stave off the threat. 15 more seconds till the period is finished. Trying to keep that grip on that left leg, Stevens. Munoz trying to separate here, and he does. Munoz now trying to circle on top. 3 seconds left, 2 seconds left, 1 second left, and that'll do it for the first period. And it ends up scoreless.
Scoreless first period, Reed's choice, deferred to Trine.
Munoz defers, and Trine will choose bottom here to start off the second period. Munoz of the Blue Jays will start on top. I'd imagine a key in this matchup could be the extra riding time point. So if Munoz can ride out half of this second period, that'd be a huge advantage for him. Already looking like Stevens going to break free. And Stevens does break free for 1 point. 18 seconds of riding time in favor of Munoz of the Blue Jays. And our first point goes by way of Trine. It's 1-0 here in the second. First bout of the day, 125. The last two meetings have not been close, as Stevens, a freshman, already made a pretty good impression at the Trine invite, trying to make an even better impression, take out Munoz of the Blue Jays. Munoz has been trying to circle on top. Here he tries it again. And there's the takedown, 2 for Munoz. Munoz trying to execute that play in the first period, couldn't do it. This time he does. And after starting the period on top, he is back on top with 50 seconds to go, now accumulating almost 40 seconds of riding time. Might be able to get that minute. And you mentioned in a tight bout, that minute of riding time could be really important in this match. Munoz needs to stay on top here for another 10 seconds if he wants it. And it looks like he's going to get to that extra minute. Of course, you want to add a little extra. He's still got, now at 1 minute, he's still got 26 seconds left in the period. Every second gives him extra time if he wants to start on bottom in the next period. Two to one in favor of the Blue Jay here in the second period as the final 10 seconds tick down. Now here we have perhaps some near fall points. Referee counting away. Blue Jay fans impressed. That's going to be a big near fall for Munoz. Give him 4 points on the near fall. And that'll give him 6-1 edge along with 1 minute and 26 seconds of riding time. Escape 1 point for Elmhurst after just 4 seconds in the third. Stevens once again going for that left leg. It's going to be right leg. One minute, 40 seconds left in this bout. Here at 125. Sounds like the coaching staff looking to see if Munoz can take a shot at a pin here. Some extra points for the team on the table. Stevens, a very strong first period, but then that near fall really hurt him, now trailing 7-1 as Munoz. And they're outside of the mat here, so they're at neutral. One minute, 9 seconds. 7-0. Munoz on top. Another takedown would give him a major decision victory. See if Munoz can capitalize on that here. An opportunity as they get pushed off the mat towards the scorer's table. And we're going to give actually a point there to Trine. Both wrestlers pushed off the mat, which ended up in a point for Trine. So now just a 5-point lead for the Blue Jay. But there goes Munoz again, trying to finish off another takedown. He does, and with the riding time advantage, if he can ride this one out, that would give him a 10-2 major decision victory.
30 seconds.
20 seconds left. Munoz, if he could stay on top the rest of the way, would earn a 10-2 major decision victory, leading 9-2 over Stevens of Trine. Stevens needs an escape here. Oh, and he might get it. Stevens on his feet, then back down by Munoz. 3 seconds left, 2 seconds left. He did get the escape just in time, which will give a 10-3 victory to Munoz. That's just decision. Big escape by Stevens there to save a point on the team score. But Munoz still takes the matchup by a score of 10-3. So a 10-3 decision win for Munoz gives Elmhurst 3 points on the team score. It is 3-0 Elmhurst after one bout here today. Next up, it'll be at 1:33. Jared Braun of Elmhurst facing off against Drew Clark of the Thunder. Clark, a freshman, just like Stevens, who started at 125 for Trine. Pretty young, actually a very young, I might say, Trine team today. Trine lineup. 2 points already to Braun of the Blue Jays for a takedown. Look at one, and the Trine Thunder starting freshmen at 125, 133, 157, 165, 184, and 285. So it is a freshman-heavy lineup today. The junior Jeffrey Helm at 141, a sophomore Caleb Maddox at 149, and the junior J.C. Jensen at 197. The only ones with collegiate experience beyond just the early portions of this season. Initially, Braun trying to go for some near-fall points there. Instead, it's 1 minute in, and it's still 2-0 in favor of the Blue Jay. There you go. Here comes a nice move by Braun. Braun looking to flip him over. Ooh, good-looking chance here. And they got it on the pin. A very quick pin at 1:33 for Jared Braun. Took him just 1 minute and 12 seconds. And the Blue Jay now has Elmhurst on top 9-0, heading to 141. Great look there at that pin. Braun made it look easy in just 1 minute and 12 seconds. At 141 now, Ronnie Hauser of the Blue Jays, a transfer from UW-Whitewater, taking on Jeffrey Helm of Trine. Hauser a victory over Wheaton in their duel against the Thunder last weekend. Of course, playing two teams named the Thunder, as he quickly has 2 points for a takedown. Hauser pinned Greg Manfredi 4 minutes 55 seconds in that duel against Wheaton. Now trying to go for a second pin against another member of a different Thunder. Oh, big look there. Hauser has him in a lock here. Referee on the play, Hauser holding. Hauser in complete control here early, not even a minute in. And off the mat they go. That will certainly get an applause not only from the bench but from the stands. Hauser all over it. 4 points for the near fall. couple of Blue Jays have received honorable mentions in the last D3 Wrestle rankings, one of them being Hauser. One point to Trine, 6-1 in favor of the Blue Jay, 9-0 on the team score right now. Oh, another good look from Hauser. Same move, looking to finish it off. Hauser instead now on top. Helm able to at least get to hands and knees here. A dominating performance so far by Hauser, who lets Helm escape essentially here. 10-2 now in favor of the Blue Jay. Hauser been dominating this one on the transfer from Whitewater. Not the first transfer from Whitewater. Of course, Jimmy Niels, who was very successful in his 1 year with the Blue Jays. The transfer from UW Whitewater as well. 2 minutes into the first period, and it's 10-2 in favor of the Blue Jay. Hauser again on top with a takedown. Now a 10-point lead. .30 seconds to go here in the first period. 12-2 Hauser on top. A senior from Hoffman Estates, Illinois. Went to Fremd High School versus Helm, a junior from Westfield, Indiana. 12-3 after the escape. Hauser with 10 seconds on the clock. Helm now going for the right leg. Hauser wraps around. Helm does have control of that right leg until the end of the period. And it's 12-3 in favor of Elmhurst here after one. Helm will take bottom here against Hauser. Trine, as I mentioned, started off their season against Alma. Dropped that duel. Escape for Helm here early in the second. Hauser having accumulated already 1 minute and 36 seconds of riding time in that first period. Final there was Alma 26, Trine 17. Helm looking to get a takedown here, but Hauser quickly to his feet. This little spin move there, and they're out. No points awarded. Steve Marinetti up out of his seat, the coach of the Blue Jays. Two-time D3 Coach of the Year and a former NCAA champion at the Division I level. His 15th season as the head wrestling coach at Elmhurst. And this time we'll get 2 points. Helm for a takedown. Hauser looked in control for some of that. And then all of a sudden, Helm ended up on top, and it's 12-6 in favor of the Elmhurst Blue Jay. 1 minute to go, second period. It looked like Hauser was going to dominate this one through and through, perhaps even get a first period pin. Now all of a sudden, Helm's on top, and that riding time advantage slowly dissipating. Right now at 1:10. Helm with that left hand right on the back of the head. Hauser moved that we saw Hauser use against Helm. Also a move we saw Jared Braun, who got a pin in 1 minute 12 seconds, used against Drew Clark. 30 seconds to go in the period. Riding time advantage has been cut down to 40 seconds now as we approach the final 15 seconds of the second period. Helm still on top, 12-6 in favor of the Elmhurst wrestler, though. And Elmhurst will have their choice of up or down here to start the third. So we'll go to the third, 12-6. And we're going to start at neutral here to begin the third period. the Marionetti squads. They've repeatedly ranked among the nation's best. 7 CCIW championships in 15 years for Marionetti. 3 straight from 2005 to 2007 and 2011 to 2013. That 2011 to 2013 years, some of the most dominant in Elmhurst history, including a second-place finish at Nationals as a team. Hauser and Helm now battling here on the mat. 12-6 in favor of the Blue Jay and 9-0 on the team score in favor of Elmhurst. Helm trying to get himself back into this one. He's got 1 minute 20 seconds to do so. Hauser jumped out to an early lead, 12-3 after 1 period, and then a 3-0 period for Helm. Still in neutral here, 1 minute to go in the third. Here at 141, third bout of the day. We'll have 9 due to 1 forfeit. Elmhurst winning a forfeit at 174. Still at even, 50 seconds to go. Hauser, 2 more points, so we'll give him a chance at a major decision win. Helm almost had the right leg there again. Now Hauser. Helm digging in, looking to get back on top, circling around. And outside of the circle. There'll be a stalling warning on Hauser here. 18 seconds to go here in the third. Helm once again going for the right leg. It's been a theme today among the Trine Thunder wrestlers, and now Trine back on top again. 2 points for Helm makes it 12-8, and that will do it here for a 141. That will be the final. 12-8, Ronnie Hauser. 3 more points on the board for the Blue Jays, and one where we thought it'd be really a dominating win for Hauser. Instead, it's a 4-point win, but still a win nonetheless for Hauser at 141. Not a bad fight there from the junior Jeffrey Helm, who drops to 1-1 on the season. Caleb Ramos now at 149. It's Caleb against Caleb. Ramos of the Blue Jays, Maddox of the Thunder. Trine as a team 0-1 on the season, and the Blue Jays quickly on top of this one. Team score 12-0. We have a 10-3 decision for Anthony Munoz at 125. A pin in 112 from Jared Braun at 133, and then Ronnie Hauser with a 4-point win at 141. Now Ramos, who wrestled at 141 last year for the Blue Jays, now a junior. Got a forfeit in against Wheaton, so hasn't had an official bout yet this year.
You okay, Caleb? Come on. Don't let him slap you in the face, Caleb.
1 minute in, first period. Elmhurst leading 12-0 team score. Caleb against Caleb. Ramos of the Blue Jays, Maddox of the Thunder.
You're from Romeoville, because I know you know my friends from Romeoville, right? You're from Romeoville, and I'm from Bolingbrook.
Ramos looking to gain control here, wrapping around. Yes, he does. 2 points. Caleb Ramos, and they're off. So 2 points for the takedown, and then we'll restart in the center here. 2-0 in favor of Ramos.
And I know he'll be a famous wrestler. I hope he makes
Maddox looking to escape here. Ramos trying to stay on top.
There you
Ooh, that was close there for Ramos. He's able to stay on top. Maddox with a good fight on bottom here. Was that 25 seconds of riding time now? Maddox off the quick restart, trying to get up, and it looks like he's going to be able to. He does. 2-1 now in favor of the Elmhurst wrestler. 1 minute to go here in the first period at 149. Already 3 wins for the Blue Jays individually, 125 by decision, 133 by fall, and 141 by decision, putting them up 12-0. Caleb Ramos out of Romeoville, Illinois, Romeoville High School, whereas Caleb Maddox is from Russiaville, Indiana, and Chesterton High School. Ramos, the first time we've seen him on the mat this year. As for Maddox, he is 3-2 on the season. 1 against Alma by major decision, and then a 2-2 record at the Trine Invite. Final 10 seconds here of the period as down goes Ramos, and 2 points awarded for a takedown. Final seconds of the period tick away, and whistle came just before the buzzer, but I think we'll count it at the end of the period anyway, and it's 3-2 in favor of Maddox. Check it out on the replay. This move here by Maddox puts him on top, heading into the second period, 3-2. Right at the end here, you'll see that move right there, which ends up putting Maddox on top. He will start on top again here to start the second period. Remember that the Blue Jays have dominated this series in previous years. 2014 was a 44-9 victory over Trine. Then 2015 was a 42-4. Caleb Ramos is on bottom right now for the Blue Jays, trying to escape. Back down to the mat for Maddox after Ramos moved up. Ramos trying to break the grip. He does and gets up. Now we're tied at 3. Both wrestlers with a takedown and both with an escape so far in this one. 8 minutes of riding time in favor of, 8 seconds of riding time in favor of Trine. One minute into the second period. This one a tight one, much like we saw at 125 for a while. First period was scoreless, but then Anthony Munoz scored a 4-point near fall, and that really put it away. Both Munoz and Ronnie Hauser thought might be able to get major decisions, but still wins by decision regardless. Now the two wrestlers even. 3-3, 30 seconds to go here in the second period. Caleb Ramos went for one leg, and now Caleb Maddox has a leg. Maddox of Trine. And a little bit of an advantage here, but the final seconds of the period ticking away and without any points coming from it. So 3-3, still tied, heading to the third. Two minutes will decide it. Maddox will start on bottom here for Trine. Not a bad idea if he can escape and then ride out the rest of the period. Just keep it even from there on out. He would be the winner. The other thing, though, if you can escape in 1 minute and 8 seconds, then Ramos has the lead in riding time. But it looks like Maddox does escape, and now Maddox has the lead 4-3. So it comes down to the final 90 seconds. Riding time should not be a factor in this one. 4-3 in favor of Trine here at 149. Still 5 more bouts to go. Caleb Ramos trying to get some more points on the board for the Blue Jays. Maddox trying to break the scoreboard for the Thunder team score. Nice move by Maddox there. They go off the mat, though, with no points. Maddox again, that right leg. Pretty quick there. Minute 12 to go. Back underway in the center of the mat. Ramos going for the right leg this time. Now he's got a grip on it. 1 minute to go. Takedown for Ramos puts him in the lead. Ramos against Maddox. Maddox trying somehow to get himself at an even spot or try to hold out for 45 more seconds. Ramos brings him down to the mat. Ooh, nice swipe there by Ramos, but Maddox too quick. 30 seconds. Still 4-3 in favor of the Trine wrestler, the sophomore. Trying to defeat the Elmhurst junior. Again, Ramos. And he takes round 2 for the takedown. Ramos takes the lead. And then a reversal, and now Trine takes the lead. Wow. Huge reversal. Ramos, if he can get up in the next 6 seconds, would make it a deadlock, but it's 6-5 in favor of Trine, and that's going to do it. Trine takes this one at 149, 6-5, and Caleb Maddox with a big win for the Thunder in 149. What a huge swing in momentum in the last few seconds of that one. So Caleb Maddox takes it over Caleb Ramos of the Blue Jays and is now 12-3 on the team score in favor of Elmhurst. Gunnar Ajorth trying to put Elmhurst back in the win column again. 157. He's from Yorkville, Illinois, Yorkville High School. Junior against freshman for Trine, Nick Miller, another one of those freshmen. We'll see a lot of them the rest of the way. Ajorth trying to circle around. He does. 2 points for a takedown. First points go to Ajorth of the Blue Jays. Nick Miller, a freshman from Fort Wayne, Indiana, and Snyder High School. Lost by decision against Alma. Won his first round at the Trine Invite before losing his next 2 bouts. Ajorth now trying to get some near fall points. 2 swings from the official. 2 near fall points. Additional points for Ajorth here. Looking for some more here, Gunnar Ajorth. The junior on top 4-0 here halfway through the first period.
There you go.
1 minute to go here in the first period. Four to nothing in this bout in favor of Gunnar Ajorth of the Blue Jays. Comes in with a 1-0 record after defeating Wheaton last week. Won 9-1 major decision over Owen Feenstra of Wheaton. Ajorth with the takedown and quickly accumulating almost 2 minutes of riding time here in the first period. Took him only about 20 seconds for the first takedown. 30 seconds to go here in the first period. 12-3 on the team score in favor of the Blue Jays. Ten seconds to go in the period. Final seconds ticking away, and it'll be 4-0, but 2 minutes and 30 seconds of riding time in favor of the Blue Jay. As he gets a takedown 30 seconds in and then rides out the rest of the 3 minutes. We'll head to the second period with the score 4-0 in favor of Elmhurst. Blue Jays this season, after facing off against Trine today, led up to Concordia of Wisconsin. Face off against the Falcons up in Mequon on the 19th. And that'll, I believe, be the Concordia Wisconsin Open this season. And then they'll face off against the Falcons here at home on December 8th, which will be our next broadcast of Elmhurst Wrestling here on Blue Jay TV. So Miller starts on top, and he's been able to tick away at least 30 seconds off that 2 minutes and 30 that Ajorth was able to ride early. Now Ajorth trying to get to his feet. Miller has the right leg. Ajorth spinning around and eventually off the circle. Minute 15 to go here in the second period. Still 4-0 in favor of the Blue Jay. In the bout, 12-3 over the Thunder in the team score. And Caleb Maddox with a big win at 149 to put Trine on the scoreboard, 6-5, and it was a takedown followed by a reversal in a span of about 5 seconds, where the Blue Jay went from down 1 to up 1 to down 1 again. One minute to go, and now just 30 seconds of riding time above the minute required for the extra point at the end of the bout. See if Ajorth can get up in the next 15 seconds. They're outside of the circle. Every time it seems that Ajorth is close to getting back up, he's outside of the circle. And the junior from Yorkville going to try to get up here in the next 15 seconds to avoid that riding time going under a minute. 4-0 in favor of him, though. And he's up, and it's right at a minute. Exactly a minute of riding time in favor of the Blue Jay. 5-0 now after the escape. 20 seconds to go here in the second period. Miller going for a last-second takedown. 2 seconds to go. Ajorth just got to stay on his feet, and he does. He's able to escape any points for Miller, who still hasn't cracked the scoreboard yet. Gunnar Ajorth will start even the neutral position, and it's 5-0 in favor of Elmhurst here at 157. 174 is a forfeit in favor of the Blue Jays. Trine forfeiting at 174, so that'll be 6 extra points. Here's a chance, 2 for a takedown for Gunnar Ajorth, and that'll make it 7. And with the riding time bonus, that would be 8 if he can keep himself on top of Miller the rest of the way. Ajorth rolling Miller onto the side and then back on top. Minute 15 to go here in the third. 7-0 in favor of Elmhurst in this bout. Now the count is going up. Two extra points. Give him a 9-0 lead, 40 seconds to go. Outside of the circle with 14 seconds to go, and it looks like Gunnar Ajorth is going to cruise to a victory here. Blue Jays on top 12-3 in the team score. This is a 9-0 lead for Ajorth. Miller trying to get quickly off the restart, but Ajorth Grassmon quickly, and the final seconds of this bout will tick away. Gunnar Ajorth will take a 10-0 victory over Nick Miller of Trine. Extra point added for riding time, 10-0. Gunnar Ajorth over Nick Miller.
Baker,
16-3 now, Blue Jays on top. Gunnar Ajorth with the major decision earns 4 points for Elmhurst. And quickly, Tim Novarini with a takedown against the freshman Brock Baker. Baker has yet to be victorious in his collegiate career. 0-2 record at the Trine Invite. Did not wrestle against Alma. Tim Novarini, 1-0, defeated Wheaton, and now looking for more. Novarini, advantageous position here. Going to flip over Baker, staying on top. Baker trying desperately to keep his shoulders off the mat. Novarini applying all sorts of pressure. Novarini dominating here early. And there it goes. 50 seconds in. Tim Novarini with the pin. Tim Novarini on top in just 50 seconds. He takes the pin, and that's 6 more points on the board for the Blue Jays, now 22-3. Keone Durain wins by forfeit. You can put 6 more points on the scoreboard for the Blue Jays, 28-3 now. At 184, it'll be Leo Ortiz against Austin Farrell. Now, here is the section of the Blue Jays lineup that struggled against Wheaton. Wheaton much better at the heavier weight classes. But still, you got a freshman in Ortiz, a sophomore in Mark Miller, and then the senior Luis Montoya at heavyweight. See if the Blue Jays can get some points out of these positions and see if Ortiz, as a freshman, can get his first collegiate victory as a member of the Blue Jays. Looking good early. Ortiz, a good result, although he lost 2-1. Jared Fiquette of Wheaton, very good. Wrestled at a much lighter weight class last year, but was one of the better wrestlers on that Wheaton Thunder team. And on top with a takedown, 2-0 in favor of Elmhurst. Both Leo Ortiz and Mark Miller, 184 and 197, will look for their first wins as Blue Jays. Ortiz, a freshman from Chicago, Illinois, went to Mount Carmel High School. Austin Farrell from Hopkins, Michigan. Allegan High School, a freshman with a 2-3 overall record. Ortiz 0-1. outside of the circle. Ortiz at 57 seconds of riding time, 1 minute 7 seconds to go. Here in the first period at 184, Elmhurst on top 28-3 team score. The Blue Jays looking to continue their dominance over Trine in this series, already having won 44-9 in 2014 and 42-4 in 2015. Ortiz, the freshman, as I mentioned, with a great showing against Wheaton, but nothing to show for it, a 2-1 loss. But in talking to Steve Marinetti after the duel, he was very impressed by both Ortiz and Mark Miller. Miller lost to Mikey Swider, the number 1 overall ranked wrestler, at 197, 3-0, but he thought both of them, despite losing efforts, very impressive. See if Ortiz can translate that into a victory here at 184 against Trine. Leading 2-0, 30 seconds to go, first period. Team score all but a certainty at this point, 28-3 in favor of Elmhurst. And escaping is the Trine Thunder's Austin Farrell. That'll do it for the first period, and it's now 2-1 in favor of Ortiz. Not happy with himself after the way that period ended, and Ortiz is going to start down here to start the second. One point to Elmhurst gives him a 3-1 advantage. Continuing down the Blue Jays schedule, as there's another takedown from Ortiz. 5-1 now in favor of the Elmhurst wrestler. The Blue Jays will wrestle at the Gator Duels on December 17th down in Nashville. And then they will not wrestle again until we hit 2017 at North Central on the 10th of January. And then, of course, the Al Hankey Invitational, second Saturday of January on the 14th. And then lots on the road after that. That should actually, we'll see when they do Senior Day to the Blue Jays, but their last home duel is actually their next home duel, December 8th against Concordia, Wisconsin. .45 seconds to go, second period. 5-2 in favor of Elmhurst here in 184. Ortiz leading Austin Farrell. And in the team score, 28-3 in favor of the Blue Jays. 2 more points. 7-2 now in favor of Ortiz, as he earns himself another takedown. We're also looking at one more duel around the CCIW. It's at Augustana, North Central against Augustana. And that'll wrap up the period. Again, trying for the late escape was Farrell. Heading to the third. Ortiz will start on top. He's already has accumulated 3 minutes of riding time and counting. Currently, right now, Augustana 4, North Central 4. They're wrestling at the 141-pound weight class, where Leighton Binion is a good spot for North Central. 2 more points for Ortiz. Currently leads 9-3. Then a escape, will make it 9-4 in favor of the Elmhurst wrestler, the freshman from Chicago. And we'll have a whistle here. Referee checking in on Farrell of Trine, making sure he's okay. Seemed a bit woozy there for a second. Back underway. Just over a minute to go here in the third. 9-4 here at the 184 bout. 28-3 in favor of Elmhurst on the team score. Again, it's Farrell going for that right leg. Ortiz trying to stay inside the circle while finishing the takedown. He does. Nicely done to keep that left foot inside. Dan Callahan not exactly pleased with the call. Ortiz keeps himself inside the circle while completing the takedown. And it's now 11-4 in favor of the Elmhurst wrestler, essentially 12-4 with the 3-minute and 23-second lead. But now they will give 1 point here. 11-5 now in favor of Elmhurst. We'll restart. Ortiz trying to get one last takedown to give himself a major decision victory. Interesting to concede the point, with that point being the difference between major decision or decision. Of course, the team result not really a factor. Elmhurst leading 28-3 at 184. Final 5 seconds ticking away, and that will do it for 184. Leo Ortiz, 12-5, a winner by decision. Leo Ortiz, the freshman from Chicago, earns his first collegiate victory. Congratulations to Ortiz. He jogs off the mat a winner, and next up will be Mark Miller. Mark Miller at 197, a sophomore from Winthrop Harbor, Illinois, looking for his first win in an Elmhurst singlet, taking on J.C. Jensen, the junior from Burns Harbor, Indiana. 1-0 on the year, Jensen. He won by decision against Trine. Miller, on the other hand, 0-1, losing by decision to the number 1 ranked wrestler at 197. And Mikey Swider, who is now second, and a quick takedown to Miller to start things off. So as for the rankings, looking at those now, looking at the D3 Wrestle rankings, just their second ranking of the year, and they have 4 Blue Jays. Ronnie Hauser, an honorable mention at 141. Tim Novarini, an honorable mention at 157. And at 165, Keone Durain, wrestling today at 174. Novarini at 165, so interesting to see that. We'll see if that shakes up, if the Novarini goes down to 157 and Durain down to 165. But right now, the way the lineup is, it is that. So those two wrestlers ranked a weight class below where they are currently wrestling. And then Colton Kelly is a honorable mention at 197, but here we see Mark Miller, who is starting and started against Wheaton as well, now starting against Trine and leading 2-0 here in the 197 bout. Jensen earned a win by decision against Chance Smith of Alma. Out of the circle, 31-3 team score in favor of the Blue Jays, and Miller will again start on top, 2-0 in this 197 bout. Miller will get a caution here, a little too quick off the whistle. And we're back underway. Back up and then back down to the mat. Miller here out of Winthrop Harbor, Illinois, Zion Benton High School, sophomore for the Blue Jays. Miller will ride out this takedown all the way through the end of the period, and 2-0 heading to the second. Trine chooses neutral, and we're back underway. Second period, quickly going for that left leg. Miller trying to send Jensen to the mat. Instead, back even. "15 seconds into the second period. And Elmhurst leading here at 197. Mark Miller on top, 2-0. Early takedown in the first before riding out the rest of the way. Has accumulated 2 minutes and 30 seconds of riding time. Miller trying to force him down to the mat. He does. 2 more. 4-0 in favor of the Elmhurst wrestler. 31-3 in favor of the Blue Jays overall on the team score. And it looks like we'll have a couple of 197s actually wrestling at the heavyweight division, or so we have been told. Anthony Neal from Sturgis, Michigan will take on Luis Montoya of the Blue Jays out of Lockport, Illinois. Miller trying to gain advantage to flip Jensen over. Certainly getting closer, but Jensen able to scave it off here. 45 seconds to go, second period. And Miller back on top. And outside of the circle. Back to the middle with 27.5 seconds to go, second period. Still 4-0 in favor of Miller. Miller off the restart, looking for some more action here. Oh, and quickly, almost getting Jensen down to the mat. And eventually, after a scramble, it ends up Miller back on top again. Looked like Jensen might be able to escape there for a second. He almost got pinned and then almost was able to escape in the final 10 seconds of this period. Will wind down 4-0 in favor of the Elmhurst wrestler. Miller will choose bottom here. He has already clinched the riding time point, accumulating 3 minutes and 50 seconds, and now Miller was up on his feet with Jensen clinging around to him. And it almost happened there again as Miller quickly tries to get out. Almost did, but Jensen able to grab that left leg to keep him down. Lots of action here. Miller trying to escape. 30 seconds into the third. And there he is. Steve Marinetti up out of his chair, impressed, cheering on his sophomore 197 Mark Miller. Looking for his first win in an Elmhurst singlet. Still at a neutral position here. And a whistle. Stalemate back to the center. 1 minute and 8 seconds to go here at 197, and 5-0 in favor of Mark Miller of the Blue Jays. Jensen, the junior from Burns Harbor, Indiana, 1-0 on the season. But trailing 5-0 here at Elmhurst, now 7. And that riding time now ticking back up. It's around 3 minutes and 30 seconds in favor of the home side. Mark Miller will let him go here. Looking for one more takedown for that major decision. 7-1. 30 seconds to go, third period. 7-1 in favor of the Elmhurst wrestler. Looking for one more takedown for that major decision. We've seen the Blue Jays be relatively unsuccessful at that today. Some action there. Looked like Jensen had a chance to finish off a takedown, but couldn't. Final 15 seconds of the bout here in 197. Miller goes for the legs, looking to circle back around. Almost has it here. Throws Jensen down to the mat with one, and not quite. Elmhurst looking for the 2. Instead, it'll be an 8-1 decision win. Mark Miller of the Blue Jays with his first victory in an Elmhurst singlet. Congratulations to Miller as he takes an 8-1 victory. So now Luis Montoya out of Lockport, Illinois for the Blue Jays. 285-pound bout here against Anthony Neal of Sturgis, Michigan. Neal against Trine, Neal for Trine, and Montoya for Elmhurst. Montoya was pinned in his first bout of the year at 285 against Wheaton, and now looking to start off quick, and he does. Give him 2 for the takedown. 34-3 now the lead on the team score in favor of Elmhurst. They'll need a pin from Montoya if they're going to reach 40 against Trine for the 3rd consecutive year. One minute in. Montoya riding out now. 24 seconds of riding time. Trying to flip Neal around. Getting close. Counting out the points. There it is. 2 points for Montoya here gives him a 4-0 lead. Montoya again going for those near fall points. Give him 4 more to make it 8-0. Trying to get him over again, and the referee counting once again. 2 minutes into the first period. And, almost a interesting move there by Neal. He flips back around. And give him 4 more. $12-0. here in the first period now. 40 seconds to go, and Montoya looking for more. Dominating this one so far. And that'll do it. Technical fall, 4 more near fall points. And with 22 seconds left in the first period at 285, this one is finished. And the Blue Jays take 285, 16-0 technical fall in 2 minutes and 38 seconds. To wrap out this one, Anthony Munoz to the Blue Jays won by decision at 125, 10-3. Jared Braun a pin in 1 minute and 12. Ronnie Hauser a win by decision at 141, 12-8. The only point scored by Trine today, Caleb Maddox, after trailing ever so briefly late in the bout, takes a 6-5 victory. He improves to 4-2 on the season. Ramos now 0-1. That one his first official bout of the year. Gunnar Hajorth, Tim Novarini, Keone DeRain all moved to 2-0 on the year. Hajorth a 10-0 major victory. Novarini pinned his opponent in 50 seconds, and DeRain received a forfeit. Leo Ortiz got his first win in Elmhurst singlet, 12-5 over Austin Farrell, and Mark Miller did the same. The sophomore won 8-1 over J.C. Jensen, and finally at 285, Luis Montoya. 3 4-point near falls in the first period to take his bout at 285, 16-0 technical fall in 2 minutes and 38 seconds. So glad you could join us for this edition of Elmhurst Wrestling on Blue Jay TV. As we check in, our next broadcast of Elmhurst Wrestling will be on December 8th. It'll be the final home duel of the year. We'll also have the Al Henke Invitational, of course, in January, but the final home duel of the year is December 8th here at home against Concordia of Wisconsin, 7 p.m. We'll have the action for you here on Blue Jay TV. Thank you to Frankie for a great job with the controls. I'm Luke Tanaka saying so long from R.A. Fagnall Hall. The Blue Jays winners, 39-3.